Okay, so I'm still like slowly combing out my hair because some people are like, oh my gosh, why does it take a million years to come out your hair? Well, this is the thing about having long hair. If you wear it up maybe 1 day or 2 days or rinse your hair with water and then like the next day you're like you haven't fully combed it, like sometimes I'll wear it up and then I go into like combing it out. So like I have to go from the bottom and I keep doing this, like they keep saying that this is for ethnic hair, but I find like the texture of my hair, it's an interesting mix because I think this is true for people that are part, like I would say Middle Eastern. Like sometimes your hair is a little bit more thick and coarse than like I would say, I don't know, like somebody just a Western European person. Like I feel like my hair is a mixture of things, and this is just my hair responds really good to leave-in conditioners and moisture treatments. Like when I was young, this was the thing like that was always so daunting. Like being a like this probably doesn't make any sense to somebody who like I think even if you're just white, like it's probably better not to wash your hair every day. Probably not. Like it's standard Western culture. You wash your hair every day, but you're like totally stripping it out. You can rinse your hair out, but I think it's better to prolong washing and you just rinse it out. And I do that a lot. Like I rinse my hair a lot because the more you wash it, the more you tangle it up. And then we're using really harsh shampoos on our hair. Although there are some people in the long hair community, they say washing their hair frequently is really good. I don't know. This was just my experiences. I never suffered from oily scalp. I just don't. My hair doesn't get oily. But some Western European people that are completely of European ancestry, they tend to have really like oily hair if they don't wash it every other day. But I also thought too, I could be wrong, maybe it's because they overwash their hair, and I've heard that if you overwash your hair, your scalp does start producing more oil. But I've just heard a lot of people say they try to prolong washing their hair, and that doesn't work for them. Whereas for me, even when I was young, I knew that like maybe washing your hair once a week and rinsing it out a lot was just like the best thing, and like you get it wet. And I don't like to like do a heavy wash on my hair, and that's kind of how Indian people and Middle Eastern, and that just seems to be what works best for my hair. And that's long hair philosophy for a lot of people. You don't like use a really harsh shampoo on your hair every day. Like you rinse it out, and then I guess there's a lot of like with the new situation, they're like, well, you need to wash your hair every day. Well, you can rinse your hair in warm water, and this is another place where I deviate too. I don't wash my hair in cold water, but Brad Mondo actually did a video about it, and it's better to wash your hair in warm water. So it turned out I was right all along, like the whole thing about opening your pores. Like there's no substantiation that's better. It's better to wash your hair in warm water, and like if I rinse my hair, I do it in warm water, or if I put it up in the shower, it gets warm with warm water. So, or like let's say I feel like the ends of my hair, if I feel like I need to clean it, sometimes, okay. Or if I feel like I need to clean, hi, how you doing? The ends of my hair, sometimes I put it under the sink throughout the day and I rinse it. Like I add a lot of water to my hair, but then I just do a lot of leave-in conditioner and I do a lot of hair rinses. So I've gotten to the point that I feel like I'm a big proponent of like rinsing your hair, but you could keep it in a braid and rinse it out, where a lot of oil tends to collect at your scalp and roots if you do have an oil issue, and sometimes rinsing your hair and keeping it in a braid mitigates it from tangling up. Because the thing I hate is I don't like my hair to get tangly, because in the past where I wore my hair down a few times and I'm like, it's 5 in the morning and I'm flip floppy detangling my hair because I wore it down, and that's when it was more to here. And you're just like hours and hours of like, let's go from the bottom to the top with a comb. And maybe it's because I don't like, but you know, I don't think you have to rush like combing out your hair either. I like to just take my time. It's fun. You can do a live stream while you're doing it. I wanted to watch that show Magnificent Century when I was combing my hair, but I can't really watch it because it's in Turkish and you have to watch, read the subtitles, which is what was forcing me to learn a lot about Ottoman history because you're reading the subtitles and then you read all that information that is the script of the show. You basically read the script of the show while you're watching the characters, and it makes you analyze like their facial expressions a bit more. And then you go online and you can do web searches to see what's true, what's not. It really helps you to learn more about the topic, like when you watch a show with subtitles. I'm pushing my mind, like, I never want to stop learning. Like, I always want to learn new things, like, every day. I don't need to be in school to learn stuff, because I've always been my own teacher, and I'm my own student, and I learn things for my own gratification. Like, some people, all they care about is, I want to get an A on that test, or I want to pass the test. Like, what do I need to do to pass the test? That's all they want to know. And they would say, if they studied more and they found out after they got a good score on the test, I would literally hear people say, well, I studied too much, I guess I could study less next time. But that was never my MO. Like, when I was a student, I was like, I love learning and I love education and I want to read this book to learn a little bit more. Because, oh my gosh, especially as a history major and taking poli-sci classes, I was in my grade jelly jam. Like, I remember one time in 1998, I don't know why this was so exciting, but I was a little late to class, and the professor didn't care, but he said, you're among the elite because you passed the map quiz of North Africa. Like, it wasn't hard. I just studied it. I knew, like, where the North African countries were, and I know about history, and I love, like, okay, sometimes when I sleep at night, I've never left the U.S., but I love to imagine the map of the world. And I love to imagine where different countries are and things. And my thinking has completely, radically changed now. The whole situation is, I want to travel and I want to do things. And I want to meet people and I want to have a fun life. I really want to do things. Like, I've been messaging some new people online, like, just from other places, like, and talking to them. And it's kind of cool, like, and I'm thinking, you know, why haven't I traveled? Why haven't I done that? I should do these things when this is all over. I want to do that. I want to go there. I want to do lots of fun stuff. And I'm not going to put it off anymore, you know? I'm going to try and go on a trip in the near future, get a new place. I have things I want to do, and I'm like, this is flippy floppy exciting, and it's really cool to, like, meet new friends online. Like, you can talk to people, and you're like, hey, like, how like, we talk about, like, I've always kind of talked to people online, but it seems like lately more people are at home, so you're sometimes messaging some new people, and it's fun. It's kind of like back in the day when I had a pen pal, which, like, at the end we weren't so close anymore, but, like, for a while, like, it was cool because he kind of really knew me because we wrote each other letters and we knew each other, and we're like, don't you remember, like, that? And we're like, yeah, in fact, in a way, like, we knew each other better than some people that we went to school with because we were writing each other letters. And I would remember, he said, remember all those little drawings that you did for me, Julia? And then he wrote me a script, and, like, it was in German. I couldn't read it. And yeah, there were just things about him that he knew things about me. And he would always say this thing to me, Julia. He'd be like, you hide from the world. Like, why do you hide? Like, why are you always hiding? Like, why aren't you more, like, out there? And I'm like, well, this is my personality. Like, he kind of knew things about me. And it was kind of a neat thing of having a pen pal as a kid. And then when I met him as an adult, like 20 years later, he still knew things about me because of those letters we wrote to each other. It was just kind of weird, like, how all that time had passed. We had never met in person, but we kind of had that connection. Like, I had a connection with him in a way that I never had with anybody else. Like, it was kind of cool. And I don't know, like, that was just something, like, being a pen pal, or if you talk to somebody online, like, you have a similar interest, like, let's say you start talking to somebody online about history, and you start, like, you can actually meet people online. Like, it's funny, they always said this isn't a valid form of communication, but now it is, because social life isn't really something you can do right now. But you're like, yeah, I can talk to these people about history, and like they like different things that I like. And I'll be all like genealogy, and like we can talk about all these topics, and I get excited talking about life and history and culture and things like that. I really do. Like, and there's something about having like a letter correspondence or an online correspondence with someone. It's just like you kind of can connect with each other. Like in the past, it's interesting that was dismissed. Everybody said just do face-to-face communication, which I do love face-to-face communication. But there is something to be said to like if you had a pen pal or just like an online friend that you kind of found each other through certain common interests, where you might have a stronger connection to that person than you would have like with people that you knew in real life. Because in real life we're just kind of thrown together with a lot of people, like whether it's school, work, church, whatever it is that you do, these people are just kind of in proximity. But that doesn't mean that you really have tons in common with these people, right? But something about just like online communities that, well, the way I did it was I was always a blogger. I used to write on hub pages, and like we had a forum, and a lot of my Facebook friends, they're not people I met in real life, but I feel closer to them. Like I actually have better friendships with them and have more commonalities with them, because years ago we used to talk about things we wrote about on the forum, like whether it be crafting, art, history. Like we forged like these common bonds, and then some of us left this site called Hub Pages because at first you were making a lot of money writing on it, and then it just kind of dwindled after Google Panda, and we would sometimes write together as a cohort on, well, my friend Aya Katz, like I came to do the live stream with her because she had this website called Pub Wages, and a lot of people were writing on that, and I just didn't always agree with people all the time, but I liked how over time, like having a dialogue with people would open your mind to new ideas, and I would learn new things. And I've never dismissed the internet. Like people just would be like, well, the internet's not real, but it is actually real. I mean, you have to be careful. You have to vet what you find online as you would with anything. Like, but that could be true with books, because I mean, just because it's published in a book doesn't mean it's accurate either. I mean, there's trashy romance novels, and I don't think I would take my history P and Qs from a swashbuckling pirate, you know, like, well, maybe Aya, like, she wrote a book about John Lafitte, that would be a little bit different, that's more historically accurate. But the funny thing is, like, she actually wrote a historically accurate book, and some people get mad at her because her historical character deviated from, like, a hypothesis that some people had about the character. But it was funny because I kind of don't get it, because I mean, I'm not really a buff of like Theodosia and all that, but I think she's interesting, but I don't follow her like life trajectory to a T. But it just seemed like with her personality and being an educated person, that her ending up with John Lafitte would have made more sense than her walking the plank and dying at sea, like, which we don't even know. That's not, it's a very romanticized story, and it's a macabre one at that. So I don't know. Here's some like tangents for you. I like learning. Like, learning is fun, and you know, you just, I guess one thing that's kind of cool about this time is people do communicate more online, and you can reforge some old friendships. Like, you know, there used to be this one woman that when I like had lost a lot of weight initially, like I put on some weight again, which, you know, I'm trying to lose it again, and I'm real about that. Like, I don't hide. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, like, okay, I could have ate less vegan junk food, I know that, and I did put on some weight. But initially, a few years ago, I lost a lot of weight, and I made this one girl that was a friend, because she said, you know, I'm trying to lose weight, like what have you done that worked for you? And at the time, smoothies were really working for me, so like we kind of talked about that. And then recently, with everything going on, like she reconnected with me. She's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? And she told me she's living in the UK and she has a baby, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like, so I've always kind of just liked talking to people from around the world, and it's kind of fun. Like, and even though I'm not a super outgoing person on the daily, I kind of am polite to people, I'm kind to people, I'm thoughtful to people. I don't go, like, I was never a party animal, but in a way, I've, like, kind of discovered I am pretty social, like, in my own ways. And people are multifaceted and more complicated than what people think. And I like communicating online, although I do want to keep my online content to more like making creative things and vlogs. And one thing I do want to stop doing is falling down COVID-19 rabbit hole and following all of that, because that's kind of like, we need to know things, but it just, I think it kind of riles us all up right now. So I'm trying to not follow that as much. Like, yes, I'm going to be aware of what's going on, but I don't want to follow every trajectory of that, so to speak. And try to think about other things, you know? Do other things and communicate with people who like history and culture and things like that. And it's fun to talk to people and meet new people, and it may be virtually, but these like communications are not less valid than if you know somebody in person, you know? It's something to do right now, and I've always kind of done that off and on over the years, and I do it in a balanced way, I guess. Like, I don't spend all day on my phone. In fact, it's funny because when I'm in daily time, like, I put my phone away. I always tell my phone, you're in time out, you go to Betty by Land, like, you're on sleepy mode, and I put it away, and I don't look at it. And then later on, like in the evening, I might look at my phone, like, okay, I live stream, so people are probably like, well, you're looking at your phone, but it's a bit different because I'm doing this as an interactive format on YouTube. I'm not just like, I do message people, but I put limits on it. Like, if I need to do something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put you to Betty by Land. That's my limit. Like, I've always been good with telling myself I don't want to interact with phone right now. It goes to bed, and I just put it to bed. And I feel like you can have a balance. So you just have to figure out what ways that it works for you, so to speak, you know? Anyway, I like my little tangents. They go here, there, and everywhere, right? So, I don't know. I guess what I was trying to say is, like, you can't really have old-fashioned pen pals right now, but you could have kind of like the pen pal experience. Like, if you like to blog, like, it's kind of a cool way to meet other people that have common interests with you. And none of these things are mandatory, but I have to say, like, the best Sonic Lion experience I had, it wasn't like that. I love those site hub pages, but I remember just in 2008, that was my grape jelly jam, like, coming home, getting on the computer and writing a hub. Like, I did a lot of arts and crafts hubs, I did a lot of history hubs, and then the forum was kind of exciting. Like, you would interact with people and talk about history or politics or, I don't know, any silly topic. And then that was fun. Like, I loved doing that, and I don't really love that site anymore. But if I had never gone on hub pages, I never would have met those people, and I never would have friended them on Facebook, and I never would have met Aya, and we never would have done the live streams together. And I love that we do live streams together because, like, she's a really interesting person that has a lot of knowledge to share with people, and I just really like that. I like people that always want to learn new things about the world. They're not always like, well, I heard this on MSN and it must be true. And I'm not saying that MSN and Fox News lie to you, but if you're just watching the news and you don't try to read things and learn a little bit more, like, okay, a reporter is giving you part of the story, but if you want the actual, like, facts without getting down the rabbit hole, you need to do some of your own research. And the cool thing right now is, without falling down the rabbit hole of what's going on, I have just been reading some of her posts, because there's these really cool people in Israel. They have a science background, and they're just sharing some of what they know about COVID, and how there's been doctors too that are saying what we thought we knew about it might be a little different than what it's turning out to be. And these are people with science backgrounds, and they're like treating people, and I just find their posts like fascinating. So I'm trying to have more of a positive take on these things, but we need knowledge to know what's happening, but without getting all like mired and sucked into it, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's my take on it. And I really love like just online communities and meeting new people and talking to people in the comments on my video, because like I have friends, like I mean I might not see them in real life, but there's cool people here that are interested in long hair, and we can talk about things we like, you know? Like we can have our own online community. You can come to my videos and we can talk about whatever you like under the sun, and I will respond to you and we can have great Shelly Jam fun time, okay? Anyway, thanks for watching.